Yeah, it's Crazy Dave and Magic Mondays. Hope you're having a great week. Folks, have you ever wondered why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth? So that we can listen twice as much as we speak? I would like to talk a little bit about listening today. Why we should listen more than we should talk. And when we do talk, it should always be the truth. Is it necessary? And are they kind words? So we're going to talk about listening, and it comes back to the ego. The ego is demanding force. They're never satisfied. It never satisfies the ego. It constantly requires that we seek more money, more power, acquisitions, glory, and prestige to provide the fuel it thinks it must have. So the ego likes to be the boss. And we have to overcome that. And one of the ways of overcoming our ego is by listening to people. When people talk to us, let them know we are listening and not waiting just to get in our words, or not waiting to give them a judgment or give them what we think they want to hear. The ego is not master in its own house. Perhaps we should remember that. Or you can either be a host to God or a hostage to your ego. It's your call. That was Wayne Dyer. Many people have told us if we listen and do not judge people, we have not walked in their shoes. Perhaps if we put ourselves in their shoes, we could see what they were going through before we made any judgments. And the most important part is not to gossip. Gossip is a terrible thing. It leads you down a road that you do not want to go. For if you can talk about one person behind his back, who else can you talk about behind their back? Will people ever trust you? So going back to the 2 ears and 1 mouth, why we should always listen, as Winston Churchill said, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak, but courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Listen to other people's opinions. Listen to other people's thoughts. Remember, we have the power to let them have their opinions, because that is their right, but we also have the power to ignore their opinions. We don't have to take everything they say in, or personally. But when we are listening, there's something good that comes about it. So I often say to myself, zip it, shut up, just listen. Especially if it's those people that antagonize you, those you haven't got those positive people in your life. Perhaps you've got those negative, toxic people. That's a word that they use often. And you don't want them in your lives, but you're not always fortunate you can just walk away from them. So perhaps what you could do is just ignore them by listening and not saying anything back. But listen with 2 ears. And remember again that they are going to not be able to get that kick. Their ego is not going to get that satisfaction when you don't answer back, when you don't fight back. And eventually those toxic people are going to move away from you. It's not going to be worth the energy for them because they're not getting a reaction. So, folks, today, instead of opening our mouth, perhaps just say to ourselves, listen, zip it, shut up. I will listen to what that person's saying. And listen with all your heart. Sometimes people only want a shoulder to cry on or an ear to listen to their stories. They're not wanting a solution. They're not wanting an answer to their problem. So go out there this week and try your best. And every time you're about to give an answer, think of what I've said. Listen, zip it, shut up. And if you really do have to reply, is it the truth? Is it necessary? And is it kind? That is your gateway for the words to come out of your mouth. And then just going back to something else about listening. You know, I often talk about meditation being so good. And one of the good parts of meditation is listening to the sounds, listening to all the different noises. And do that this morning, 5 minutes. Just sitting still, not talking, listening to your breathing, listening to the birds, listening to all the noises. See which is the furthest noise you can hear and the closest noise. Folks, I'm sure if we let go of our ego and we listen today, we're going to have a great day. Yeah, it's Crazy Dave and Magic Mondays telling you to have a great week listening to everybody. Yeah!